Hi, I'm Alicia, and today we're making autumn leaf earrings. If you've never been to Tennessee during fall, you definitely need to check it out because our leaves are amazing. They are all different colors. Go check it out in the mountains, and that is where I got my inspiration for these earrings. I'm going to show you how to make the shape of the leaf, and you can add whatever stones you want to. I have some that are more summer, some that are more like winter, and then some that are fall. You can pick and choose whatever colors you want to make for your leaves. Here's the tools and supplies you're going to need for this project. First, you're going to need a bench block, a hammer, chasing hammer, your whatever stones you want to use for your leaves, and then you're going to need a needle nose plier. You're going to need a nylon plier. This is my favorite plier ever because it can straighten out your kinks in your wires. You're going to also need your large Weber, your bail making plier. You're going to need your cutter. And last but not least, you're going to need your flat nose plier. And then you're going to need 20 gauge wire for the base of your leaf and 26 gauge wire to wire on your beads. So the first thing you're going to do is take your 20 gauge wire, and I'm going to take my nylon plier, and because I want the wire to be straight, and this will straighten out your wire and work harden it. So you're just going to take some and straighten it out. My trick is leave it on the spool while you're straightening it so that you have something to hold, because if you cut it off and you're trying to hold that wire and straighten it at the same time, you're not going to have a good grip. So hold on to the spool and just straighten it a couple times, and then I'm going to leave myself some room because these are going to be more organic because you're making two leaves and they're not going to always be exactly perfect. But that's kind of part of this whole little project. So I'm going to cut this at 8 inches, and you're going to need 2 of these. So there's one. And then I'm going to come back and get my second one, straighten this out. And I'm using 20 gauge wire because this earring is going to make its own ear wire. So 20 gauge is what you want to put in your ear. You don't want to put anything bigger because you don't want to stretch your ear holes. Okay, so now you have 2 8-inch pieces of 20 gauge wire. And then from here, what you're going to do is you're going to kind of put them together because you want them to be close, as close as you can to the same size. And then you're going to take your flat nose plier, and you're going to come in and you're just going to bend both of those together just like in a little V, and leave one side longer than the other. And then now you're going to take them separate, and you're just going to take your fingers and kind of like curve them a little bit. And then you're going to bring these together, just like push them lightly together. And then you're going to take this little piece, the shorter piece, and if it's easier for you to hold on to, you can take your flat nose plier and come right where you're putting those two together, and then you're going to take the shorter piece of wire and wrap it around that longer piece just a couple of times. So now it looks like this, and then you'll just trim off that little tail, and you're probably like, that looks really bad right now, but it's okay. We're gonna shape it. Come over to your other piece next. And then you're gonna do that same thing, and then you wanna try to like hold the other one up to kind of get it the same length. You don't have to use the flat nose if you don't want to. Some people might think it's easier to hold both of the wires while you're cooling that wire around the other piece, but you don't have to. It's an option. So now you have both of your pieces, and you can hold them up together and kind of make sure that they're close to the same size, which these are. And now what you're gonna do is you're gonna come and just pull, kind of pull on these. And this is where it's gonna be like more organic because you're doing it with your fingers. So they're not gonna be exactly the same, but that's what I like about these earrings. And don't try to pull like super hard, just do a little bit at a time. So now you can see it's starting to look more like a leaf. So this is what you're starting out with, the little ugly leaf, and this is what it's turning into. So you're just taking it and pulling very gentle, and you can shape it with your fingers by just kind of rubbing down on there. And just kind of pull till you think you've got it the shape you want. And then kind of just lay it out, which those to me look pretty much the same. And now what you're gonna do is you're gonna come in here with either your flat nose plier and just kind of make this little piece right here straight, because that's gonna be your ear wire. So this one's already straight. And then from here, you're gonna take your bench block and your chasing hammer, and you're just gonna come in and tap just to harden your leaf and to give it some texture, so when you wire on your beads, it'll have something to like hold on to. Because if you wire it onto just this plain wire, it's gonna slip. And this is also work hardening your wire, so your earrings are gonna be like way more sturdy than when you started out with. Okay, so now, before you make the ear wire, you're gonna take 26 gauge wire and whatever beads you choose. I'm gonna go for more of a fall themed. And just cut you some off, and I'm gonna start with 3 little beads on the top. And this is up to you. You can do whatever you want to do. You can fill your whole leaf with beads, or you can just do the top like I did. It's totally up to you. So I'm going to put 3 beads on, and then I'm going to come up to the top of my leaf. I'm just going to hold those beads with one thumb and start wrapping around the base, just like 3 or 4 times. So you've got one side on, and then you're gonna do the same thing to the next side. So once you get those beads where you want them, just hold it with your finger while you're wrapping, so it'll be extra secure. And so there is your first row. And then you're just gonna come in and trim those tails off. So there's your first row. And then I'm gonna go with some pearls for my next row. So you can do whatever you wanna do. Put 3 pearls on the second row. And you're just gonna do the same thing. Bring that up, kind of hold it with your thumb where you wanna place it, and then take that wire and start wrapping around the base of your leaf. And then do the same thing with the other side. And you've got your second row. Trim off your tails. And then I'm just gonna add one more, you could stop there, it's totally up to you, but I'm gonna add one more row just to kind of bring out that fall feel. So my third row, I'm just gonna put 5 or 6 carnelians on there. And it depends on how much space I have to fill up. So I'll know in 1 second. And bring that up, and 5 works. So you're just gonna do that same thing, bring it up, kind of hold it with your thumb while you're starting to wrap that piece on. And just wrap 3 or 4 times on one side and pull, and then we're gonna wrap 3 or 4 times on the opposite side. And then clip the tails. And then come back in with your needle nose plier and just push down all of those little pieces of wire that you cut so that they are not sticking out. And then you've got your first leaf done. And then you just do the same thing with your second leaf. Okay, so now that I've got all of my beads onto my earring, now I'm gonna make the ear wire. So that piece that like the stem of the leaf, we're just gonna take this wubber, and what you're gonna do, this is a large bell making wubber, and you're gonna take, so one is bigger than the other. So I'm gonna take the side that is the biggest, and I'm just gonna put that wire in between, and all I'm gonna do is push that down. And you've made an ear wire for your earring. And then you're gonna want to come to the bottom of that and just kind of file it off. Give it a little brush just on each side, just to kind of round that wire out, so that when you put it through your ear, it's not gonna hurt. And then you've got your first earring made. And then you literally just repeat the steps with the next earring, and you're done. So now that you have your earrings made, let's go back over the tools that you need for this project. You need a bench block to hammer out your leaf base. You need your beads, whatever beads you're using, your hammer, this is a chasing hammer. You need a file to round out your ear wire on the bottom so it doesn't hurt when you put it in your ear hole. You need your wubber bell making plier. This is the large wubber. You need your needle nose plier. You need your flat nose plier. You need a cutter. And my favorite tool is the nylon plier. Definitely need this tool. And then 26 gauge wire and 20 gauge wire. And you are all set. If you want any of the tools I used, check out the links below. What is your favorite thing about fall? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. And now that you know how to make leaf earrings, you can say, I made this.